What's up everyone, it's a Knife Out here, and today I'm going to be doing a sharpening session with the Spyderco Sage 5 Lightweight. And the reason that I'm doing this video is because I wanted to put some more content out there, and I just recently dulled this knife. I'll tell that story in a little bit. So I figured that some people, when they sharpen, this is including me, I like to watch sharpening videos when I sharpen. I don't know why, I just kind of do. So maybe if you want to sharpen and turn on this video for however long it is, you can go right ahead and do that, I guess. So I'm going to be sharpening this knife, and while I'm putting the Sharpie on the edge, I'll explain why I need to sharpen it. And that's because I was actually planning on doing like a little challenge with this knife. Oh, actually, before I do that, I'm going to dull it because I kind of want to wipe the original edge off. So let me get this on camera. Just want to wipe that original factory, or it's not really factory, I've sharpened it before. But the reason that I want to sharpen this is because actually I was trying to do a little challenge with it where I would see how long I could go just stropping and honing it. And while that was probably going to take months to finish, because stropping it may only take like a month or a couple weeks maybe, but when you include like a ceramic rod, that can actually remove like edge rolling and chips very easily. So that was going to take a while, and I actually chipped this pretty bad to where I would need to sharpen it. And so the story behind that is that I was at work, and there's this broom at work that I really hate. It's like the thing wrong with it. Sorry, I'm having trouble sharpening and talking. But the thing that's wrong with the broom is that it looks like it got like thrown into a hurricane and then woke up with bedhead. Like just the strands, I guess, are just so messed up and all over the place. So it was really getting on my nerves, so I decided I was gonna cut them off with my knife. Turns out this broom has like metal strings on the end of it, and I was able to cut a few of them because it wasn't hardened metal, but it was still just a little bit odd. And so I actually recorded a video of the first time I sharpened this knife on here, and I noticed when I rewatched the video that I was not really hitting that bottom, like towards the base of it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and work on that and really hit the bottom of the base. So that's why I'm checking my Sharpie frequently. And this knife actually has an off-center grind from the factory, so I'm sharpening at a very low angle on this side, while when I go to the other side, I will be sharpening at an average angle. I'm actually gonna bring it like this because I'm having difficulties fitting my thumb in there. So yeah, I'm definitely hitting my apex. That's not gonna show up very well because my camera, the lighting in my sharpening studio, if you wanna call it that, isn't the best. But I'm still need to hit that base a little bit more. Okay, now I'm gonna finish up this first part of the knife. Sorry that I'm not talking much. I kind of like to focus more when I sharpen, and I haven't completely got the muscle memory down to where I can just talk and sharpen, really. But a little bit of an update to that last video I did about the Benchmade Super Freak. Turns out, I forget the name of the person who found out, but he actually called Benchmade, and I pinned his comment, and later in the replies of those comments, he said that he called Benchmade, and they said that that was a mistake on Blade HQ's part for the reasoning of posting that the Super Freak was discontinued. It's actually just the partially serrated Super Freak that's discontinued. And so yeah, that's a cool thing to know. And I guess that's a big loss for people over at Blade HQ because, you know, that knife sold out really quick and it was only like $150. So one thing that I've noticed is I formed a burr here. You know, I've done about everything except I need to get that base. That burr is a little bit, might just be, it's a lot smaller than the one on the, towards the middle of the knife, and that tip I'm not really getting it all that well, so I'm gonna work on that. And the bottom of my thing is slipping a little bit. Don't really know why that is, but yeah, so Benchmade did not discontinue the Super Freak, they discontinued the partially serrated Super Freak. So that's good for the people who really like the Super Freak, I guess. I didn't really plan on getting it, but definitely seems like a great knife. And man, Spydercos are definitely not my favorite to sharpen. I feel like I am hitting that bevel nicely, except still at the very base, I might need to hit that just a little bit better. By the way, this is the Work Sharp guided sharpening system. And all right, so I have a burr all along the edge of the knife. You know, I might just have to hit it on that base again. It's kind of frustrating me. I don't know why this is sticking up on me. But yeah, all right, so I got a burr on this side. I kind of reprofiled that edge. So now to the actual normal edge here. Let me line this up with the camera and let's get going. So as you can see, I'm holding a much higher angle like this. And this is actually my more dominant side of sharpening. So I am definitely hitting that Sharpie. Maybe I need to hit it a little bit better at the base. So far, it's looking good. Yeah, okay, that scratch pattern is looking pretty nice on the knife. Still not really a burr, so just a little bit more, I guess. Yeah, that bevel looks nice there. I'm gonna work on it a little bit towards that base. Yeah, there we go. There's a burr. All right, so that sharpened it pretty good, and I am trying something different. I'm starting on this 600 grit stone, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I've just been reading, or not really reading online, but seeing Instagram posts, and I've seen people say a lot that it's actually better the less stone progression that you use, better for your edge, I guess. I don't really care that much because it's probably the difference between like stropping after 6 days versus stropping after 7 days. You know, it's probably one of those things that really isn't that big of a deal. But I figured, why not? I don't have to start with a really low grit because this 600 grit stone cuts really fast. So this burr is just going back and forth, which I am not complaining because I feel like this S30V is definitely done right. You know, forms a burr nicely, knocks off a burr nicely. Sometimes it feels like when you sharpen a poorly heat-treated steel, feels like you are just trying to get off a burr for like 15 minutes. And it's pretty frustrating. So I might need to knock off that burr a little bit more, but all right. So I don't think that this edge is going to be the best. Oh, okay. That edge is very good. Wow, I did not really expect that. Straight off of a 600 grit stone. That is a nice edge. I'm happy with that. I have a feeling that this is going to be one of my sharpest knives yet. Sorry, I have phone book paper everywhere, all over the floor, and I just had a piece of one stuck on the bottom of my foot. So now I'm going to get out my redneck sharpening system. It's basically just my Spyderco ceramic stone with a rag on top of it. So I'm just going to set this up here. Sorry for the wait. If you're just watching this to watch it and you don't have hands busy sharpening, feel free and skip ahead 10 seconds. But yep, there is the stone. Lay it right on that edge there. And so I'm probably not going to do the Sharpie thing on here. I can just tell because this stone has great feedback. Did you hear that? That is why I really like this stone. I barely switched off my angle and it just pretty much yelled at me. So about this knife in use, because a lot of times I have a little bit of a honeymoon phase, is what people would call it, with a knife when I get it. But this knife, I did not have that whatsoever at all. I pretty much picked this up, put it in my pocket, and put it to use, which I honestly can't say that I do very much for my other knives, and I have really been enjoying it. I actually got this knife for the sole purpose of using, because I got, I've already said this a lot of times, but I lost my Native 5, St. Nick's Native, and so I've been a little timid to carry nicer knives, and I'm not trying to sound like a snob when I say this, but I wanted to get this Spyderco really to use, and even though I would hate to lose it, I wouldn't be as upset if I lost like my LUDT or my Sabenza. And I'm sure people who have lost a knife can relate to that. I was chatting with someone on Instagram who actually recently lost their Knife Art Sabenza. And man, that if I lost my Sabenza, I would be really, really upset about it. And I feel that guy's pain. And well, and I hope he finds it, but I hope that he can either get another one or, you know, hopefully it goes okay for that guy. If you're watching this, which I doubt that you are, we all feel sorry for you. But yeah, so after hearing about him losing his Sabenza and I lost my knife, definitely do not want to be carrying a Sabenza, or I'm a little timid to carry a Sabenza right now. So if you guys don't know what I'm doing, I'm actually looking at my bevel. It looks to be good. I just need to hit it a little bit better at that base. So yeah, I'm gonna just sharpen a little bit more on this side. All right, so that bevel looks pretty good. We got a tiny, tiny burr on there, So now to switch sides, sharpening on this side is once again not my favorite. I might need to hit that just on the tip a little bit. So what is some new news in the knife world that I can think of to talk about for those loyal people still watching? Spyderco. I'm sharpening a Spyderco. So I saw that new smock. It was a DLT exclusive. It's gone now, but in that red G10 and M390, and I have been wanting to get a smock. It's not the most interesting Spyderco on the list of ones I want, but it's definitely one that I'll eventually want to try out. And the reason I didn't get it is because Spyderco's M390 is okay, but it's just not the best. And I actually feel a little bit of a nick still at that tip. Just slightly catches my fingernail, actually. You know, I can't feel it all that much. Actually, I think I might have just got that out. Just realized that I'm kind of going off the camera. Sorry about that. Yeah, Spyderco Smock M390. The reason I didn't get that is because I've been kind of timid to get M390 just because I haven't had very good experience with any of my 20 CVs. My ZT-0562, probably the one that has felt the best, and ZT, I know they're not excelling in heat treat or anything. And like my Hope Deca, that heat treatment is pretty poor. I recently sharpened that and it was very challenging to knock off a burr once I finally formed one. And the thing is, 20 CV is one of those steels that when heat treated nicely, it sharpens up like a dream. It honestly sharpens like something like a tool steel. So I think I'm pretty done there. There might be some small burrs left. Actually, I'm gonna raise this camera up slightly, trying to get it not to fall over. Okay, there we go. Ooh. That is a nice edge on there. A little bit of an S cut. This is one of those times where I don't even know if I want to strop this knife. It feels so good. You know, I have shaved a lot of my, oh yeah, that is definitely shaving hair. I don't want to shave too much because I kind of shaved off all of my, or like a whole half of my arm, so it looks really freaky. So I'm trying to let my hairs grow back. But I might strop this just a little bit. So just drop a little bit right there, and let's see what our edge is at. Oh yeah. Oh, that cut right there. If you guys have ever used newspaper, you know that that cut right there is good. Most of my knives, after I sharpen them, I can do these side cuts pretty easily, just like that. But cutting against that grain straight down, that's something that doesn't happen all that often. And man, that is a straight up killer edge that I'm very happy with. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do a little bit of the edge testing that I like to do. Not like an edge retention test, but try an S-cut, just do some fun things with my knives once I sharpen them. So let's go with that S-cut. Okay, we can S-cut. Let's go with this cut I do. Basically hold it by each pivot screw and just very lightly cut it. It can do that. I'll just do it, hold it with 3 fingers like this. Sorry, it hung up on that. Ricasso. Ah, that's a new word that I learned. It's funny because the knife world, it's always one of those things where I remember not knowing what something meant, and now it's something that I use all the time. Like, I remember not knowing what the word detent meant, and now I say detent a lot. If you don't know what a detent ball is, basically it's something on the lock bar, and then there's a little hole in the blade, and basically that's what's keeping the knife from falling out in this position, even if the knife is very smooth like this one. And so it can't fall out, but it can drop shut like that, and so that's what a detent does. So, yeah. I'd say that's okay. No, I'm extremely happy with that edge. This is one of those times as a sharpener where you really are excited about sharpening and you feel like that's your best edge that you've ever done. So I'm very happy that I got that on video. So I'm definitely gonna post this, which the only way you're watching this is if I posted it. So that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry if there was a little bit of some times where I wasn't talking. I was just kind of focused, and I'm glad I was because I got a good edge in the end. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.